full-back, Nick Evans, fly half, and Jamie Roberts at inside centre. Marlon Yard on the right wing as well, with the very quick Charlie Walker on the left. He's in for Tim Visser, who doesn't play against his former club, with a niggle. Up front as well, an international flavour, Joe Marler, loose head with the former Wallabies lock. James Horwell captaining the side. Chris Robshaw is on the blind side flank, with Luke Wallace, a pure open side, a very, very talented player indeed in the number 7 jersey. Sam Toomey comes into the second row to replace George Merrick, who injured his neck last week. On the bench, there is likely to be a first Edinburgh appearance for the freshly arrived young Argentinian prop Felipe Arregui, and Fijian Olympic sevens winner Viliami Mata will bring his skills to the pack later on. For Harlequins, Danny Kerr is back after his rib injury. So last look inside the dressing room. There's Duncan Weir, who's got a jaw injury at the moment. The man who was fly half, I suppose he was tired of being back up to Finn Russell at Glasgow, so has moved across to Edinburgh, but injured at the moment. And Edinburgh gather in their final huddle. It's a curious experience being at an Edinburgh match at Murrayfield, because, and it's well known, well documented, that just a few thousand spectators rattle around this stadium, which holds 67,000, but it's usually between 3,000 and 4,000 people watching club games. A move to Myerside, not far away. Watsonian's ground is imminent. They'll be moving there for a few experimental games starting in January. There's Grant Gilchrist leading out Edinburgh, and Horwell leading out Harlequins. The two lock forwards bring out the sides. And I think we suspect David Flatman alongside that the Harlequins are just beginning to find a little bit of form. Big game for them, this one.
It is a big one for them. What they haven't been is consistent. They've been deeply impressive at periods, especially against Northampton Saints and Saracens this season. But they haven't been consistent. I think when they are playing at their best, they defend hard.
Well, this week has been a very painful week for many involved in rugby after the dreadful news of the death of Anthony Foley at the age of just 42. Murrayfield is a stadium that Foley knew well, having played here several times in the number 8 shirt in Munster and Ireland, and more recently as a coach. So admired throughout the game. His funeral took place in his native Killaloe in County Clare yesterday, and today here and at grounds around Europe we will have a minute's silence to remember Anthony Foley.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the rugby family is in mourning for the loss of Munster head coach and forward captain Anthony Foley, who passed away last weekend. Anthony Foley was a true Munster and Irish legend, and his name will forever be synonymous with that club's glory days in Europe. He also played 3 European Cup finals and famously led Munster to their first triumph in 2006. In memory of a great player and coach, if you can, please stand for a moment's silence.
Murrayfield remembers Anthony Foley. The rugby world has this week and has again today, and will over the rest of the weekend, and his Munster players. And again, you may be wanting to keep the score and watch the highlights. Well, shut your ears now, but his Munster players did him proud today. Huge victory over Glasgow. Romain Poit is the referee for this one on the pristine Murrayfield pitch. And Jamie Roberts, just one of many, many big game players in the Harlequins lineup. Nick Evans, so experienced, getting on a bit now, but all his wiles and all his skills in the fly half guard for Harlequins to get us underway here at Murrayfield. Just a little dink down the middle from Evans. And it doesn't quite work for Edinburgh at the gather, as Wallace took it in instead. And there is Robshaw, and on to Marler. The internationals linking up and carried on by Horwell. Again, the experience that runs through this Harlequins pack. So in goes Dixon, Carl Dixon, and Evans, just a show, and then tries to go, but he's stopped in his tracks by Nassi Manu. Dixon again, gives it on. James Chisholm it was who put in the tackle. Number 8's on either side. Carried on and beautifully played. This is Chisholm, and Chisholm charging through the Edinburgh defence and deep into the 22, but there was a little toe in touch on the far side, but a very bright start by Harlequins, and James Chisholm playing his part.
Well, kind of an odd start from the restart, if you ask me, from Edinburgh, putting I think from all the way up here, it was Chris Dean they put up to take that restart. Didn't work, putting a centre up, but Chisholm gets outside. Nassi Manu with ease. Manu won't like that. Chisholm's been in great form these last few weeks, only getting a run because Jack Clifford's injured. He's playing so well.
Blair King here at 15, you've got to make the tackle in some way. You know, there's a huge weight differential there, and he managed to get him down, and Edinburgh able to scramble him into touch.
Good gap for both sides. I show the mark for you and you get the line on you.
An injury, an early knock to Ross Ford, and there was that very late change in the front row for Edinburgh with Rory Sutherland, who did something in the warm-up. We saw him hobbling off, and he was replaced by Alan Dell. But Ford is down at the moment, and there is Dell, who said it was a late replacement himself and might have a little bit of a stinger perhaps. Shaking it out. Can you do that medically?
All good.
It's just what you want, a sore right shoulder 1 minute in as a loose head prop, don't you? Perfect.
So Ford under pressure on his first line out throw. Shortened line out, and up rises an overthrow and taken in instead by Rob Buchanan, and Harlequin so close to the try line. Marler trying to burrow his way in. Harlequins just a couple of metres short, and Edinburgh's defence being tested at the very start. Harlequins heavy men pouring in. Advantage to Harlequins as well.
Roll away.
And there is the penalty.
It does look hurt, Dell. It doesn't look right. That was a poor line out overthrow from Ross Ford. Toulis was up in loads of space. So it's a great drill. He's up there all on his own. Ball just comes too early, too high.
Stay there, Black.
And Harlequins perhaps sense the weakness as well. They've gone for the line out. Would have been a tight angle for 3 points in any case, but Harlequins attempt now, and there is Buchanan. Goes to his man in Horwell, his captain. Edinburgh get a good initial defensive shove in there, but Harlequins try and reset and re-engage the driving ball. Going backwards though, they might have to use alternative means here, and Dixon, a little slip through in the scrum half, offloads beautifully, and racing in there was Charlie Walker for the try. Beautifully worked try by Harlequins. Great skill by Dixon, the scrum half, and Charlie Walker on hand.
I didn't see the last pass. Any
Great
reason why I cannot want
Carl
to try,
Dixon.
please?
He just knew exactly the awareness around him, where the defence was, but more importantly, where his support was. Look at him, eyes on the ball, eyes on the opposition, knew the support was inside. Fantastic, great opportunity. Look at that, the awareness of where everything was.
Well, hey, thinking back, Andy, pre-match we spoke about the strength of Harlequins driving maul against Stade Francais last week. Edinburgh absolutely have that in mind. They've all piled in, committed themselves, but they haven't kept their eyes open. That's just too easy for Dixon.
Thank you. Just for your information, we didn't have a picture on the big screen. Okay, you are on your own.
Somehow we got through it though. The TMO decision is given that it was a try, just a checking. I'm not quite sure what checking there. I was temporarily distracted. I'm not sure what they were checking. It looked like a beautiful and clean try to me, but it's given in any case, and Nick Evans now to try and convert the try of Charlie Walker. A beautiful strike from Evans, through the middle it goes. 3 minutes gone, 7 points, Harlequins lead. Roman Platt just making the request for replays to come up on the big screen so he can do a bit of TMOing himself, but there we are, Charlie Walker.
Thank you, Brian.
In within 3 minutes, and Edinburgh stung. Restart from Tovey is returned, but doesn't quite find touch.
Away, Black!
And up it goes from Jason Tovey. Beautiful take by Mike Brown, who's under a bit of pressure there. Looked uncomfortable as he plucked it from there, but stayed strong. And Evans and Quins with a chance again through Rob Shaw and Roberts and Marlon Yard. Dragged down by Tom Brown. And pick up and away come Edinburgh now, and a chance, an opportunity for Phil Burley, and Burley now doesn't quite have the pace to get away from Evans, but has support from Alan Dell, from injured man to try scorer, and Edinburgh hit back in style, turning their defence into attack with that turnover. It's a try apiece at Murrayfield.
Well, it all began with good work at the breakdown from Edinburgh. Hustling on the touchline, Carl Sinclair takes his eyes off the ball, it gets robbed. After that, it's a good offload from Burley and great support from the loose head prop, my goodness. Mind you, only 4 minutes in, there's a bit of running left in those legs. Bradby does really, really well to get this away. Good tackle from Evans, but it's not enough.
Thank you very much.
Well, he's had a busy game, Alan Dell, since his late inclusion in the side with that injury to Rory Sutherland. He was expecting to be warming the bench for 60 minutes or so, perhaps. Already he's had a knock, he's scored a try, and gives the conversion attempt to Jason Tovey, who thought that was through, but it just drifted away at the end. So Harlequins still with the lead, and it's a lively start to this game.
It has. Both tries have come from turnovers. Both time Edinburgh had a chance to clear the lines, they didn't. Harlequins turned the ball over there. And here's maybe not the two quickest backs we've seen there, but Burley gets the offload to Alan Dell. Great support. He's really good in the loose, he's really mobile, and you saw that there with a great try.
He thought that Burley might be in himself, but couldn't outrun his fellow New Zealander Evans. But again, plenty of experience, Burley. He knew the support would be there, and Blair Kinghorn now, the youngster, gives it on. And Edinburgh once more, Magnus Bradbury in there, very talented young flanker from Oban. And the gap almost appears there for Tovey. And Sean Kennedy gives it on to Hamish Watson, in for John Hardy today. So Edinburgh a bit more life about them now. Try a piece at Murrayfield. And Burley thought better there than to give the pass. Back it comes to the slender figure of Jason Tovey, sends it high. This one works well for Edinburgh, taken on now by Christine, and Christine away, but he hasn't quite got the legs. Now finds Damien Hoyland, and Hoyland into the 22 and still going. And Edinburgh now pouring on. Kennedy gives it. Lovely pickup by Tovey. Burley is there now, holding it in one hand. The ball didn't quite go forward. Well, did, says the referee.
Already, bro.
Nice two.
Well, one of the main questions before this match was what sort of style of play, what sort of approach are we going to see from Edinburgh? And so far, Andy, I'd say that the Duncan Hodge era looks positive, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much so. It just proves that a good kick can be an attacking element, not just a negative one. And Mike Brown, probably one of the best in the world, under severe pressure from Manu there, gets it to Christine. He hasn't got the gas, but good support line. And this is where you just want Edinburgh, when they've got in behind the defence now, to recycle it, make good decisions, have good lines. And it's not a great pass, but Tovey picks up. But Burley then comes back, tries to find some support. And that's just where their attacking game needs to go to the next level. So they're good in the breakout there, but then it's the collective understanding of what they do then when they're in behind the defence.
Don't bind early and don't engage.
First scrum of the game, and Roman Platt not entirely happy with the way it went to the first attempt.
Wait for the last one.
So chat to the respective packs.
Crutch. Bind.
Kyle Sinclair in the tight head for Harlequins. Edinburgh get a bit of a squeeze, and Carl Dixon told to get it in there. Not much quarter being given by either side at the moment. The ball's just sitting there. Somebody do something. So it was picked up by Chisholm, and now Harlequins move it out the backs. And let bounce by Blair Kinghorn. It actually sat up quite nicely for him. He might have been in a bit more bother there. Dell has to go in, and then Kennedy and Toulis with a little sly pass. Like it comes to Tovey, who's lost for a moment. The referee rather gets in the way, and then taken on by Hoyland.
With the feet, Brian!
And the ball is there for Harlequins to claim, and the man getting down there was Joe Marchant. But still with Edinburgh. And Kennedy gives it on to Toulis. His 50th Edinburgh appearance. Advantage to Edinburgh, penalty coming, so yards near interception would have not counted. And the man penalised was Joe Marler.
Release quickly.
It just can be so hard when the ball carries are so simple and it's one-out stuff like the Toulis carry was. Then it's hard to just knock these guys down and bounce up. It's what you have to do, but it's just resisting that temptation to hang on to them for a second longer till your buddies get there, to get your hands off that ball. It's about resisting temptation. It's, for me, it's the most important part of discipline in the game of rugby.
You must definitely work about
Joint most
feet.
penalised player in round one, the title that he doesn't have on his business card, but he does give away a few here and there, Joe Marler.
But I mean, for me, you could have picked that ball up and played with it. A bit rough.
So Ross Ford now an attacking line out. Didn't quite go to plan last time for Edinburgh. This time safely gathered in by Nasi Manu, and off the back comes Hamish Watson and gives it on to Chris Dean. Carried in by Gilchrist, and then Ross Ford. Harlequins trying to hold him up there, and Ford just gets to ground. The ball there just about for Edinburgh. Can they get it out? Well, they get the scrum.
James Hall did really well then. He got a nice upper body shot, a good grip on that ball, two-handed grip. Ross Ford couldn't grip it down. It's a lot easier to hold it up than it is to rip it down, believe it or not. There's Horwell, gets underneath him. Jamie Roberts has got hold of Ford's legs, keep it off the floor, and unclamps Wallace. Easy turnover.
It's not been given as a turnover. It's been given as an attacking side ball, which you don't get many of those decisions these days.
Oh no, you don't, do you? As
Crutch.
So instead, it's a good attacking position for Edinburgh. Big blind side to have a think about. So in it goes, and it's a bit of a mess, but the referee says fine, let's play on. So taken on by Blair Kinghorn, and Kinghorn is in for the try. What a try by the young fullback. Well, we've heard about his talent, and a sign of it there. The 19-year-old Kinghorn scores, and Edinburgh leads. And they've come back well after that early setback, and that was all about Blair Kinghorn.
a lovely finish, and it's good refereeing. The referee was told it was a penalty to Edinburgh with Joe Marler collapsing. He lets it play because the ball's there. I wonder if because he's so long-limbed he perhaps doesn't appear to be moving so quickly. Well, he is. He's moving very quickly. Lovely feet, great outside speed. Burns Nick Evans. Gorgeous finish.
There's some things you can coach and there's some things you can't. Speed is one of them, and he's got that. He's got that built for a big man. He's got great feet as well, and he's been talked about for a couple of years. We're seeing that come to fruition now. That was an outstanding finish from an outstanding prospect.
Well, as you both said, it's the footwork and the speed for a man who doesn't look like, he's certainly not Jason Robinson build, but he showed good pace there off the mark to leave Nick Evans floundering, and the conversion attempt from Jason Tovey. And another one just sliding to that side of the posts. So 2 tries for Edinburgh, but their lead only 3 points.
Blair Kinghorn was in many ways symptomatic of the Alan Solomons era. He never really backed him. Now, he was a young kid coming through, but I remember speaking to Duncan Hodge on many occasions, and Duncan Hodge rates him very highly. So here he is, 3-4 games into his tenure as head coach, and Blair Kinghorn looks like first choice fullback, and no wonder when you see him finishing like that.
Well, the restart again works well for Harlequins, and carried in by James Chisholm, and he's carried backwards. And Dixon gives it to Evans, who just for a moment looked 36 there in that last passage of defence for that try. Lovely take by quick feet of Charlie Walker, goes loose, and there's a little knock on by Edinburgh in any case, but it's Harlequins' ball. and Horwell and Marler going in together, but they'll come back for that Edinburgh knock-on.
Tell Edinburgh are really attacking well in the breakdown. They're making good first-up tackles, but then they're counter-rucking very well. They're being disruptive. They're getting arms and legs through. Really not giving any platform for Carl Dixon to play off, and it's really disrupting the ball. They got one of the tries from a turnover like that, and it's really been effective so far.
Okay, but stay at 10.
Good line speed too in defence, good pressure applied by Quinn. So often you see that line speed come from sort of the third or fourth defender onwards, with the first couple near the breakdown, hedging their bets and keeping it safe. But this is line speed from defender 1 and out. Really hard for Dixon to play against.
Fine.
See the metres made there, 116 to 33 in Edinburgh's favour. Down goes the scrum. Feet are too far back, the touch judge. The assistant comes in.
Come here.
Let's talk scrums with David
Just
Flatman.
closer, and don't pre-engage, okay?
I love it when the old
Closer,
touchies tell him what's going wrong technically. I mean, actually.
I was ready to say, how would you respond to a touch judge who's never been in a scrum telling you your feet were too far back?
Yeah. Well, what you'd say is, wind it in, mate. You've never done it, and unfortunately, you've got to admit, he's probably right. That's the worst bit.
Crutch.
They just don't want Carl Sinclair here on the tight head side for Quinns to be too stretched out, because then he's got only his front couple of studs on the ground and he'll slip, but it was early anyway.
Draws that to a close, the referee, and Jamie Roberts. Was that forward pass? No, says the referee. So Harlequins come forward again, and there is Rob Shaw. Oh, they just overrun him. There's Evans, little pop pass inside to Marlon Yard again. He was just in front, so it doesn't quite work for Quinns, and a chance for Edinburgh to clear. A bit of space seen over the top, and it sits up well enough.
Stay wide, stay!
And the kick finds Sean Kennedy,
Back in.
and he finds second try scorer for Edinburgh, Blair Kinghorn.
Away one, stop!
And just 19 years old, Kinghorn, and realised he couldn't really take Mike Brown there. His timing was a lovely slip pass from Brown, and through the hands it flies from Harlequins to Yard, and then on.
Assist tackle,
Stolen,
not
it
released.
seemed, but not releasing in the tackle, so
Getting the
penalty
ball
to
when
Harlequins.
it was on the ground.
Just about kickable. It's some distance. They might decide to go for touch.
Well, a gorgeous passage of play from
Assist
Quinns. The
tackle,
kick was
must
too
release.
long from Kinghorn. Masterful but easy take from Brown. Lovely hands from Carl Sinclair. That was fantastic from Mike Brown, but really it was made too easy.
Time
Lovely
off.
little flick on it out the back, and then Sinclair. Lovely stuff.
Slick move, ends in a penalty
13
for
back.
Harlequins. Sam Toomey is still down injured, just as Hamish
Assist
Watson
tackle,
came
not
away with
released and
it.
getting the ball.
Hamish Watson, Christian's in there
Allianz
making the tackle. He goes in, Hamish Watson goes in. That is really harsh. Do you not think that's as good a turnover as you want? The timing, I think, was perfect, but the referee's interpreted as he hasn't released them.
That is a perfect turnover, it looked to me.
No, is it?
Great piece of work, but so
good
often
timing
these
anyway
rules
for
are
the
about the
referee.
interpretations of the ref. You spend the first 20 minutes learning them, and the last 60 ideally obeying them.
Yeah. And to be fair, there's been consistent,
Not
because
releasing.
I think Harlequins got penalised, Chisholm or Marler got penalised, wasn't it, when it looked quite harsh. So he's very tight. So the players now need to respond to that, as you say, learn from it, and get the hands up in the air, show that you're freeing up the defender, the attacking player, so then you can go back in.
And that is Hamish Watson's speciality. Really is a specialist open side. That's what they do. Sam Toomey, you saw getting strapped up, his boot welded to his ankle now, and Harlequins with this great attacking position. Went backwards, says the referee, and there is Sam Toomey. And Marler into Watson, and Watson there just trying to get over it. But Harlequins, options either side, and the ball still there, laid back by Rob Shaw. Out wide it goes, the try scorer Charlie Walker. Walker slips it on, wonderful play, and Robbie Cannon is there, can't quite make it. 4 metres short, picked up by Dixon, feeds it on, interception, and is taken on by giant Nassi Manu. Swats Brown aside and gives it on, and Kennedy now. And the danger over for Edinburgh. And the danger very much alive for Harlequins now. The pass is a little bit laboured, but men out here for Edinburgh, carried on now by Gilchrist. Gives it on, little chip forward, and it's for Tom Brown to chase. Yard is getting back there for Harlequins, as is Dixon. Down it goes. Well, breathless, wonderful passage of play.
I thought he carried that over, they'd given a 22.
Well, the crowd thinks so too.
We are 9 nautical miles away, but it looked like he carried it over from here.
He was certainly praying that it was going over because he was running a quicksand. That was a long passive play, a lot of area covered. What an exciting passage of play that was. You talked about line speed and defence.
Back three.
That was unbelievable line speed from Nasi Manu to get off the line there to get intercept.
Really good work from Quinns and Buchanan down the far side, but that intercept was fantastic, as was the aggressive handoff. Great work from Manu.
Evans sends it high, and again Edinburgh unable to gather these restarts by Harlequins. So into scrum half comes Charlie Walker. He gives it on to Sinclair. And there is Mike Brown. And complaints from Villanelle that he was being impeded. And Dixon gives it deep to Evans. Once again, up to the sky. Yard coming forward and the ball pinging about and eventually finds its way to Kinghorn. He's got plenty of strength as well, the youngster. Then loses that ball but goes backwards to Kennedy. And Kennedy to Watson. And just wrestles Rob Buchanan to the ground, and that was met well by the crowd. This is why they do judo in training camps.
Don't say judo.
Oh, lovely hands by Gilchrist, sets free Hoyland for Edinburgh, and Damien Hoyland the chip for himself to chase. Hoyland looking for the bounce. Oh, it bounces high, can't quite take it. Has support now from Nasi Manu. Brilliant. And Manu is over. A wonderful, wonderful try from Edinburgh. Great skill from all, and finished off by Nasi Manu. Scored 3 tries last week, and he has a beautiful try here.
It's fantastic rugby from Edinburgh, a great try. Beautiful break down the right from Hoyland, just good hands. This is a lovely piece of skill. Looks like the bounce has beaten him, but how did he get this away? That's just class.
Okay.
But for me, that started with the footwork of Blair Kinghorn under the high ball, fabulous footwork, and then just the beast strength of Hamish Watson. So aggressive.
From your side.
I said at the start of the game, weren't sure if you could flick a switch and turn Edinburgh from being pragmatic, conservative to this attack-minded approach to it. But in the first 20 minutes, this has been fantastic from Edinburgh. A real attacking intent. Everything they do is positive, and going forward, we're already seeing Duncan Hodges' influence on this Edinburgh side.
Well, 2 conversion attempts so far, and both missed by Jason Tovey, and he makes the necessary adjustments. This one sneaks inside the uprights in Edinburgh. 3 tries and a 10-point lead now after that try conceded within 3 minutes, but this was a beautiful play.
That was brilliant by Hoyland there, because he could easily have panicked there, and he just had the composure to hold on it, roll with the tackler, free up his hand and offload it to Manu. Fantastic finish. Well,
we were talking beforehand about the strong thread of sevens players in the Edinburgh backline, and you can see a little bit of that composure and offloading skill. Once again, part of the game that has worked well for Harlequins hasn't worked well for Edinburgh, and the restarts. And that's 4 times now that Edinburgh have waited to gather the restart and have got it wrong. Out it goes wide from Roberts to Joe Marchant. And James Chisholm gives it on to Buchanan. And lost again by Harlequins. And again, men over here for Edinburgh. And a little straightening of the line by Kennedy. And then the arm comes in from Charlie Walker. And a knock on. And it's a loud blast, a penalty, deliberate knock on. Just batting it down.
To catch the ball, any opportunity.
Yeah, no question, definitely deliberate.
It's deliberate. There's a lot of chances, a lot of times that goes to a yellow card, doesn't it?
That's what I thought, Andy, yeah.
Ryan? 12? Thank you. 22.
Let's have a quick word with the acting head coach of Edinburgh, Duncan Hodge. Duncan, you must be very pleased after that initial setback, what you've seen so far.
6.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that gave us all a bit of a fight that first 2 minutes. There's about 3 or 4 errors on top of each other that led to a really soft score. Since then, we've been excellent. We've created some turnovers, we've used the space, and we've attacked really well. Kickoffs, I've just heard Andrew highlighting that, is obviously a big worry just now. We just can't quite consolidate our scores, but there's a lot of positive in there.
Thank you, Duncan. I'll let you watch the game as it continues with the rest of us, and taken on there by Kyle Sinclair.
7.
Penalty to Harlequins. So the line out, a bit more time to talk to Duncan there. That's just that area of concern as well, just has gone wrong a couple of times. But I think neutrals will be encouraged, and Edinburgh fans certainly will be, by the style of play so far. As Andy highlighted beforehand, Alan Solomon steadied the ship at Edinburgh, but it wasn't perhaps the most glamorous type of rugby.
Keep the thrower in front of you.
No, but in the whole Alan Solomon's era, I think Hamish Watson has been the standout play. Consistently, he's been Edinburgh's best player, and yet again, in the first 23 minutes, he's been very much at the fore, although they gave a penalty away there.
Push back.
Carried in by Roberts, and Harlequins with another opportunity. Marlon Yard. They try and hold Yard up, but gets going and keeps going. Not held, scrabbling his way forward. And fired out by Dixon again, and on to Toomey. He's taken by Tullis, and Evans just slips it to Robshaw. Dixon gives it to rather deeper to Mike Brown. And Brown has such a deceptive strength. It doesn't look the most powerful individual, but he really is. And slipping through almost unnoticed was Carl Dixon. And the ball pings out again, and there's Hamish Watson once more. Times his pass nicely. Tullis gave a bit of a hospital one to Ross Ford, but he's strong enough to maintain composure and given wide again. Hoyland strips round the forward, and Hoyland again gives it on. Wonderful to Blair Kinghorn. Kinghorn doesn't quite have the pace, and Hamish Watson is there. And what a try once more for Edinburgh. Outstanding rugby. A bonus point try within 25 minutes. And the crowd, well, it's never the biggest at Murrayfield, but they applaud heartily with what they're seeing. That was stunning stuff.
Well, it looked for a millisecond like Carl Dixon had caught them out of the breakdown, and all that line speed was going to make them pay, but they recovered well. Bradbury got in there really well. Ball turned over. How easy is that offload for Ross Ford? So strong. I like that early ball from Kinghorn to Hoyland.
Yeah.
And they just fly. This is a lovely offload as well. Looks easy, it's really not. He has to look inside for Watson, who presumably is screaming, and it's not just to pop it in. That's a 3 or 4 yard offload. Looks easy, it really isn't. At high speed, when someone's grabbing you, high skill levels, and a fabulous try. They're great to watch, this first 25.
Well, so we watched the conversion from Jason Tovey. And this one just inside as well, so it's 24-7. And Andy, when you saw that first try for Harlequins, this would not be the reaction you would have expected, realistically.
No, definitely not. I mean, the last 2 games, Edinburgh have scored a lot of tries, but they've been against Treviso and the Saracens from Romania. But you thought against the quality opposition that Harlequins are, you know, they'd be up against it, and they were in that first 5 minutes. But since then, it's been an attacking masterclass, and it's the intent they're showing with their execution. It's just been fantastic to see. And the Edinburgh crowd, who've been starved of this for years, are just absolutely ecstatic with the start.
Well, Harlequins get the restart again. Again, it goes wrong for Edinburgh, and that's certainly something that Duncan Hodge will be wanting to look at. Another opportunity given to Harlequins. What can they do with it? Evans gives it deeper to Roberts, trying to bring his muscle to the play. There's free balls so often for Harlequins to play with, but so often they've been turned over as well. Brown now, Tullis comes in, and he's just punched back, but gets that ball away, Brown.
No hands!
Out it comes to Marler with his fellow prop Kyle Sinclair in attendance. And Dixon once more to Evans. And Evans, the pass is loose, and just a little bit of stumble there from Burley as he tried to take it, was almost too ambitious with it. But Edinburgh's ball once more, and the feelings are there for all to see for Harlequins. And the ball bounces around in front of Mike Brown, and Brown in trouble, gets himself out of trouble, but then a foot in touch. Play on, says the referee. So from some depth, Harlequins have to come now through Horwell first of all. Dixon breathing hard. Hands on thighs to give himself a rest. Just teasing it out. And Gilchrist thought it was out, it wasn't. So away comes Carl Dixon, gives it on to, not quite to James Chisholm, and eventually they come back. I was going to ask you about the restarts, David, but so much has happened since then.
We've moved on. No, we have. I think it is a real issue. It doesn't look like it on the scoreboard, but every single time Edinburgh score, at the moment, Quins are guaranteed that ball back straight away, and at some point they're going to use it, you'd imagine.
It's a bit of a silly penalty here from Grant Gilchrist. Ball was never out, scrum half can touch it. Carl Dixon takes it quick, right thing to do, and then Chisholm just took his eyes off the ball. But going back to the kick-offs, Andrew, kick-offs are just like set piece. They're like the line out, they're like scrum. If any team lost 5 line-outs in the trot or 5 scrums, you'd be doing something serious about them. They've been basic mistakes, and it looks like a structural mistake as well. They're not recognising where Harlequins are putting the kick-off, and they're not getting their people there.
Well, it's interesting when you consider how adaptable and proactive and reactive they've been in attack. They've been fabulous, but actually it's almost like if the ball doesn't land directly on top of their lifting pod, then it's gone.
Possession 58%, Harlequins to 42 for Edinburgh, which again doesn't tell you the whole story. This is where the final will be played, with a slightly bigger crowd, you would hope and expect. Who knows, Edinburgh may well be. The Harlequins have been there so often before. They won it 3 times. They lost last year in the final. Edinburgh were finalists a couple of years ago. So both these sides with some pedigree in this competition. But Edinburgh off the back of that big win over Timisoara Saracens, a side from the western half of Romania. And a big win, and as Andy was talking about earlier, a big win against the Romanian side. It almost doesn't prepare you for a match against Harlequins, but they have taken it to it so well. We seem to have abandoned penalising squint puttings at the scrums altogether, as Edinburgh have it, and brought forward by Tom Brown. And Kinghorn forward pass, well it wasn't, was it, from Chris Dean, giving it on there. Again, one of those ones perhaps it was you'd say sometimes the momentum of the player going forward carried the ball forward, but he was almost at a standstill as he gave that.
Forward pass, scrum wide ball.
Good, boys.
Yep, easy call for the officials.
Definitely better about the space between 1 and 3.
Did you like the way he accelerated forward just to give the impression?
Of course, he was moving at 30 miles an hour.
Forward
at
pass,
that point.
scrum wide. Keep going on this side about the space.
Chris Dean, another good sevens player, another youngster who offers much potential for Duncan Hodge to work with.
Crunch!
Interesting battle here on this side. WP now will want to get that ball low to make it hard for Buchanan to hook. But I expect Carl Dixon will just knock it into the second row's feet anyway. A lot of pressure from Nell.
Early pushing.
Oh, that's close. Very, very close. That ball looked like it was coming in.
So free kick to Harlequins, and there is Chisholm. And WP Nell is a fearsome scrummager. Evans gives it on to Roberts. Dixon just shovels it out to Horwell. Brown comes in to steady things. And carried in once again by Chisholm. So Dixon, Evans, and carried on by Marchant, and not quite there for Charlie Walker, who was flying up. Carried in this time by Sam Toomey. Ponderous at the moment from Harlequins. Horwell gives it on to Marlon, and then the spill by Kyle Sinclair. Too many mistakes from Harlequins.
It's another skill error from Quins. It looked like Joe Marler got that and tipped it on without quite looking where it was going. Interesting to see. Yeah, a bit of a no-look pass.
Okay.
Just a little bit too far in front of Sinclair when he's getting man and ball.
Between both
He is a skillful guy, but he's a tight head prop, don't forget.
Stat attack. Harlequins have not got past 6 phases yet, which is quite a good indicator, because they just haven't been able to put together that continuity. Let's go to scrum time once again. The referee just asking for a bit more space between the players, between the front rows.
Actually, it is an interesting stat, that, Andrew. Well, to me anyway. Well, slightly interesting. Quins have scored a lot of their tries off the first 1, 2, 3 phases, so when they're getting to 5 and 6, they haven't been going well this season. They haven't been keeping that going.
How will the scrum fare? Kennedy. And just held at the back, and Kennedy himself picks and goes. A little Chip just gathered in by Yard, is then taken out well enough by Tom Brown, so Edinburgh's line out.
Yeah, he just got underneath that a little bit, didn't he? Pitching wedge under that, is that the right golf term? I don't really do golf.
Well, it was more, I would say, a lob wedge.
Black.
Almost a 58 degree at least.
Stay in front of
But again, made good by a good kick chase here by Tom Brown. Didn't have to chase far, but he made sure he got Yard into touch, and they can now start with the line out again.
Well, he's been involved quite a bit, Marlon Yard, but it's not been all pleasant.
Okay, good. Stay there.
And the set piece has not, well, in line-out terms, has not been a great strength for Edinburgh. And Ford looking to his captain Gilchrist, takes it down safely enough, and held at the back there by Magnus Bradbury. And just try and spin off, but they used it once, says Romain Poit. Now being held by Watson, and then smuggled onto Nassi Manu, and he gives it to Kennedy. Kennedy into the tackle, Buchanan and Wallace, and there is Nassi Manu again. Good power in the tackle from Wallace. Good tackles coming in, this time on Ross Ford. Then a bit of a wrestling match, and Bradbury eventually gets to ground, but a penalty to Harlequins. 7 minutes to go in this first half, and Edinburgh, but for that very early setback, have really dominated a lot of the time by Harlequins' mistakes. And as we've talked about, it's not as if Harlequins haven't had ball to play with. They've had more of the ball.
And a good change of tactics there by Edinburgh. We've seen them throw the ball around. They've scored 4 great tries, and they're just actually going back to what they're very good at, which is their forward pack, the strength. And they unfortunately got turned over, but you've got to mix up your tactics, and Edinburgh did that well.
Well, Evans has been with his Harlequins for so long now, Nick Evans. So he turned 36 in August, a man of 16 All Black caps back in the day. Shorten line out for Harlequins, and Buchanan goes long. Tapped back by Horwell, so opportunity for Quins once again. Beyond Roberts it goes, and on to Mike Brown. Good timing of the pass, and Charlie Walker trying to get away. So quick, Walker. No real chance there to use his pace, and Edinburgh counter-rucking, and the ball there for anybody, and coming away with it is Phil Burley. Everybody paused there for a moment's reflection, but it's Edinburgh's ball, and Kennedy gives it on to Ross Ford, heading towards the final 5 minutes in this first half. Kennedy, just perhaps a little bit too much on it. Brown at his leisure, and lays it back comfortably enough. And Sinclair, good power from the tight head. And Brown again, coming down from the east stand, taken well by Kinghorn. Yard is upon him, but good strength again by Kinghorn. Doesn't play like a 19-year-old. The Harlequins defence up so quickly, so kick over the top, and waiting for this one is Nick Evans. Just about gets away, but Hamish Watson scrags him. The Harlequins just look a little bit thoughtful at the moment, not too much pace about them. Robshaw tries to get them going forward again. Dixon's rather loose pass, but good hands then by Robertson onto Marchant. Evans, and through the middle, just about with Sinclair. Good hands onto Robshaw. Robshaw looking for support outside. It's there now from Mike Brown. He's brought down right on the edge of the 22. Advantage, penalty to Harlequins. And again, the crowd displeased.
Easy.
And Marlon Yard came racing in to have his say.
Time off, John.
And Ross Ford and Mike Brown. Mike Brown's he's a brave man, feisty character.
Easy, let him go.
Ford against Brown.
He's a tough bloke, Mike Brown. If he's on your team, you'd love him. If he's not, you don't. I can tell you that, having played against him.
He's such a quiet fellow off the pitch as well. Meek and mild, wouldn't say boo, and then different animal on the pitch.
Okay. Just keep everybody in the game.
Carl beautiful ball from Nick Evans. Carl Sinclair's running beautifully at the moment in midfield the last few weeks. Bit of a tasty offload from Chris Robshaw, works out, but I think it's Alan Dell who's penalised there, just can't resist diving over the top. And hey, whatever you think, letter of the law is always the sort of thing that's going to get penalised by a referee. It just doesn't look right. You've got to control that adrenaline near the breakdown.
Well, Harlequin's hand is rather forced. They need more than 3 points, even though we have a half and a little bit to go. They're going for the corner.
Just see Alan Dale there diving over straight off his feet. He will argue the ball was out. Quinns will argue it wouldn't, but you're taking risks like that in front of the ref. It's very rarely going to end positively.
So big lineup for Harlequins, need something before half-time, and it works well through Horwell there, and then it'll just held on by Chisholm, and a good drive by Quinns. A couple of metres short of the Edinburgh line. 3 minutes remaining in this first half. The ball there for you, says the referee. So Robshaw gets his hands on it, and tandem with Wallace sets off, but taken down by Toulis. Dixon gives it out to Horwell and company again. Edinburgh keep them 5 metres at bay.
Advantage, 7 offside.
Advantage to Harlequins. Penalty there for them. A free attack here. Nothing doing there for Dixon. Still Quinns' advantage, and Buchanan carries it in. This time it goes wide. Evans slips it onto Yard, and Marlon Yard for the line. Doesn't quite get it down. Remember, playing Quinns' advantage. Might have been very well held up there.
Brian, we are not sure about the grounding. Can you check that? First question, try yes or no.
So grounding is the obvious thing to check there. Did look almost certain that Marlon Yard was going to score there.
If I don't award the try, I come back.
It was great build-up play by Nick Evans. He did so much movement. But here's the touchdown. Let's see if he gets it.
That's Alan Dell underneath it. Loose head prop. Ooh. Great strength to get there anyway. Marlon Yard, so strong. Not a huge guy, but so strong. Really good defensive work from Dell.
No, that's up.
This could be the angle.
That is the angle that might be beneficial to Harlequins and Marlon Yard. That last one there.
Yeah, I think it looks like it goes down initially.
I think what Dell does very well, he gets underneath Yard to give him the opportunity to stop that ball.
That's a try.
There we are. I think that did his best.
It's great to see the benefit of seeing it from all the camera angles. The first 2 angles we saw, it didn't look like a try. The last 2 it did. And
yes.
Roman.
Yes, please, Brian.
Wow.
Okay, no clear and obvious.
I'm surprised.
I come back to the penalty. No try.
I mean, that looked like a very clear and obvious grounding.
Like a clear and obvious grounding. Well, it looked clear and obvious in that the ball hit the ground. Other than that,
offside.
When it clearly and then obviously was touched down. But a big decision.
We wait, everybody.
It's a huge decision. Unless Quinns score right now, it's a huge decision.
Offside 7.
Well, it really is a last throw of the dice now for Harlequins in this half, because they have been denied what looked like a perfectly valid try. Again, the only thing you could say in defence is perhaps the grounding was that before the line, but everything that was happening over the line, surely at that point. Anyway, we move on, and Harlequins try again. Horwell takes it in, and being held there by Buchanan, the hooker. And Buchanan driving it forward, advantage. Might well be a penalty try, it is. So there is the try anyway. It doesn't go to Marlon Yard, it goes to a penalty try. So in the end it matters not, and once more tempers are being stretched. But perfectly well deserved try for Harlequins for their forward effort there, their control, their patience, and a try just before half-time.
Anything from the side? No, I didn't see what started.
Yeah, it was a very nice maul. Put Edinburgh under loads of pressure.
Want to check or...
Easy take. Edinburgh stay down to try and drive it like they did early. They're worried about this maul, and rightly it's an effective one. Harlequins absorb that pressure, roll around to the left, keep the pressure going, spitting Edinburgh defenders out the side.
Well, as Nick Evans takes this conversion attempt, which he will put through.
No.
They're just going to. Well, so there's a TMO, so the try hasn't been awarded yet. Everyone just stand down for a moment because they're going to check something. They're all peering up at the big screen as Nick Evans slotted a conversion that never was, because there might have been some foul play after the penalty try had been awarded, but surely that wouldn't affect the try. You'd give a penalty after that.
Yeah, you can restart with a penalty, can't you? I hope you can't lip read.
Yes, please.
Yeah, presumably it's something to do with this handbags arrangement that came post-try.
We check about the scuffle, and he had to wait. He had to wait.
Right, okay.
So they might not be
Stay
checking
there,
the
stay
try, they
there,
might be
please,
checking for an
James.
offence after the
Yes.
try. So he said that Nick Evans had to wait. So it might well be a try in any case, but they're checking for foul play after it. Obviously there's something going on there.
Well, we're a distance away. Just watch Carl Sinclair's left hand. I think he just grabs Tooley over, pulls him by his collar. Tooley doesn't like it. Hey, it's just walking away from a player, dragging him to be annoying. Sinclair just pulls him away. Everyone has a little shove.
In the law book, actually, that is defined as a bit of nothing.
Yeah, nothing really clear and obvious in the scuffle. Okay, I call both
14-6-2,
captains for warning for
subsection
players.
B.
Five
A lot
black.
of old nothing, and so we'll
Captains.
just carry on. A chat though for the captains.
Well, he stopped it now, so you might as well have a chat.
2 scuffle in a short time. That's finished now. Okay, I have a word for you players. We come back for the penalty try and for the conversion. Number 2 collapsing and number 1 also. Okay.
So Nick Evans will go to the conversion again.
Nothing clear and obvious. Penalty try awarded. Conversion after the TMO call. Thank you. Time back on.
We must have spent almost 5 minutes over something that was nothing, and we've gone to Timo yet again. I just wish the on-field officials could just have a bit more gumption and make a call and stick with it.
So through it goes from Nick Evans. A minute to go in this first half. One more restart
1 minute
to go, and 10 points the difference. That's a big try for Harlequins to score within 10. Very, very different to being adrift in single figures. Just psychologically, it makes you feel that you're right in the game.
And also after having what we thought was a clear try, not disallowed, but not allowed in the first place, to score so quickly will repair some of that damage.
So the restart from Tovey, and decides to go for distance here, and Mike Brown sends it towards the east stand, or not quite that far.
These restarts again, we talked about the problems Edinburgh are having at receiving when it comes to receiving restart, but their restarts are just aimless for me. They're long, they're so easy to clear. It's a net loss of 5 yards. I mean, it's only 5 yards, but why not put the ball in the air and compete? You've got Grant Gilchrist, he's about 9 feet tall. Get it up there, you know.
6 men.
Maybe they can't attack, like they can't defend. That's the kickoffs have been so poor and received that maybe just they've lost the plot in attack as well.
So the clock is red, the final passage of play. One more line out for Rossford to try and hit his man. Again, it's too long, and it's happened too many times from Edinburgh's point of view, and Chisholm brings it away, and Harlequins are the final attack in this first half, and Roberts. And Dixon gives it on to Marchant and then to Buchanan. This is a gift of an attack for Harlequins now. Can they make something of it? Indeed, there have been a few gifts from Edinburgh to Quins. Jamie Roberts. And there is Sinclair. And Sinclair, good strength, then good hands on to Charlie Walker. Scored that first try in the game almost 40 minutes ago. Still with Quins. Deep into red time here. And Joe Marler. And this would be a huge boost for Harlequins if they can find another try before half-time. And marching once more. And they are moving through the phases this time, Harlequins, not spilling the ball, but yielding a turnover. Chisholm. And the ball's still there for Quins. Evans. Well taken down by Phil Burley. Marlon Yard gets Toulouse around his knees. Sinclair. A huge amount of pace from the prop. Robshaw and Wallace so often joined at the hip. Down the blind side go Quins, and Yard just delays the pass to Mike Brown, and Brown, Edinburgh realise his danger, but still there with Quins, an advantage and a penalty to Harlequins, illegally scooping it back, and again the crowd give vent to their frustration, and this has been a messy end to the first half for Edinburgh, and
playing the ball in the second time.
Harlequins have a great opportunity, a big decision here, quickly taken by Carl Dixon, and gives it on to Chisholm. Is there to be something? 2.5 minutes almost of red time played, and Marlon Yard now. Again, that power almost sees him past Hamish Watson. And Harlequins are getting closer. Horwell taken down by Dell. So Dixon finds Evans once again. Evans in the pass, almost worked. Oh, it's an interception, and it might be there for Edinburgh now. And it's going to be, is it? Another try, and Damien Hyland takes the gift and scores for Edinburgh. And oh, huge frustration for Harlequins, who thought they were closing in. And instead it is another try for Edinburgh. And once more scuffles off the ball, but try for Hoyland, try number 5 for Edinburgh. And under the post they will move beyond 30 points.
Nick Evans and Quins just pushing too hard to score again before the break. Hoyland's away super quick. The incident occurs right behind him that you're hearing about. There's a scuffle, we can't see it on this angle. I think you've got Edinburgh support runners running sort of shadowing lines to get in the way of defending Harlequins. Harlequins, Charlie Walker doesn't like it. Bit of a scuffle, 2 yellow cards by the looks of things.
Under the post?
Well, I actually watched it. It was Charlie Walker came back. He just tackled Tovey, and it was nowhere near it.
And they're both going up. You can see Jason Tovey, and just out of shot Charlie Walker, there he is. So both sides will start without a man in the second half. Should open up the game even more. And there you can hear complaints from...
That was the Glasgow tone of Duncan Weir.
Duncan Weir. Now, Duncan Weir is officially water carrier today, or tea bringer honor, and he's having his say to Romain Poit. Duncan Weir has got a jaw injury at the moment, but his jaw is not so badly injured that he couldn't have a chat with Romain Poit. So the stand-in kicker, Blair Kinghorn, adds the conversion. You can see the yellow cards that will begin the second half with. Though what a first half we have had, David.
Absolutely loved it. For the first 5 minutes it looked like Quins were going to be so dominant. Edinburgh played a hell of a game. Quins did make a comeback, but Edinburgh just keep playing and playing and playing. The Duncan Hodge era looks good.
What a first half we had. Let's get the thoughts of Ross Ford. First half, and looking for more of the same sort of excitement. Harlequins will be looking for much better though.
Ready, Black? Let's go.
And I think Edinburgh, even though they were very impressive going forward and taking their opportunities in that first half, there were still areas that they could improve. The restart being one of them. This one doesn't quite, well, it didn't initially work for Harlequins, but they get that ball back.
Use it, White!
And Romain Poit is telling Carl Dixon to use it, and WPNL strays, but up it goes from Dixon. And taken by Manu, almost untroubled. And you see the yellow cards, almost a full 10 minutes remaining for Jason Tovey and Charlie Walker, who I think paid the price really for being the latest in a long line of scuffles, off the ball incidents, and Romain Poit had enough. Kennedy.
No hands!
And Toulouse comes into play scrum half and gives it on to Kinghorn. Again, very impressive, the young fullback in the first half. And Harlequins have turned it over, and they have the penalty.
To turn over ball, to using hand on the ground.
Strong work from James Chisholm. James Chisholm at the breakdown there. But you watch Blair Kinghorn deliver that late ball. I think it was to Magnus Bradbury up the middle there, but really Kinghorn's got to get back instead of carrying on his line and admiring his work. He's got to get back and lend a hand at that breakdown. He's the closest guy to it.
So you saw also Charlie Matthews. We saw a long shot of Charlie Matthews, who is on for Sam Toomey in the second row for Harlequins. Toomey was getting strapped up around the ankle in that first half, so he's gone off at half-time.
Interesting, for the first 10 minutes of the second half with Jason Tovey off, Blair Kinghorn moves forward to 10, and that's another position he's played a lot of rugby at, and a lot of people think that's his long-term future, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes in these first 10 minutes.
Chisholm takes it down for Harlequins just outside the 22, and Wallace spinning into that 22, and Sinclair comes in to set the ball onto Horwell. Dixon complains, advantage to Harlequins, penalty is coming. And Dixon was right, actually he's training to be a referee, Carl Dixon. All scrum halves, I suppose, are.
Yeah, I've not quite passed my exam yet.
All scrum halves think they have passed their referee exams. But there is Carl Dixon, elder brother of Lee. I think a Scottish grandfather, as Harlequins decide to go for touch, and not an easy one on that distance and that angle. That's a very, very good kick. I think he approached Scotland in his youth, Dixon, and said he was available for selection, and the call never came. Scotland have some decent scrum halves, though. It's a position they haven't struggled in. Horwell now, and Harlequins, can they work this maul and use that forward power and discipline again to bring another try? Edinburgh's defence is being spun here and all over the place. Down it goes. And carried on by Buchanan, the hooker, and now wide it goes, and Roberts on the punch right underneath the posts, and Harlequins 2 metres from a try right at the start of the second half.
Leave it, Black.
Chisholm just short, manages to lay it back through Sinclair. It goes to Marlon Yard, and Marlon Yard for the line now. Well, did momentum get on there? Not quite. Right it goes now, and there is Sinclair for the try. And there is the ideal start to this second half for Harlequins. Both sides a man down, a little bit more space on the pitch, and Harlequins the first to make it pay.
Marlon Yard so nearly there. Sinclair knows he gets the ball too flat. Yard's more dangerous, so he gives it back. Good hands. This is just a trot round the corner. Not even much of a foot race in the Edinburgh defenders there. That's too easy. Not enough guys folding around. Yes, they're a man short, but so's the attack. You've got a 19.5, 20-stone tight head rumbling in unopposed. You're not folding hard enough in defence.
Well, he started that little phase of play, Carl Sinclair, and then he looked around and popped up and built up to full ramming speed. Kyle Sinclair in for the try, and Harlequins right back into this game. It was a shocking end to the first half for Quins, but they have a great opening to the second 40 minutes. Evans then. Beautiful kick from a very, very tight angle, and Harlequins beyond 20 points, within 10 now, courtesy of Kyle Sinclair's try.
You ought to be impressed with their ambition. Just before half-time they went for it, but they could easily have taken the 3 points and gone in 7 points down. They conceded the interception and a 7-pointer, but this was just a matter of time. It had to come. As Flat said, Edinburgh weren't getting round in defence. They made hard work of it, Harlequins, but eventually got over. And this game is far from over. I don't think anyone expected it, but 10-point ball game. It's going to be a good second half.
And also, so much of the ball Quins have had, they've coughed up either with skill errors or turnovers from Edinburgh. They finally hang on to the ball. When they do, they're scoring. So if they can stop those turnovers and cut them down and improve the skill level, perhaps by pushing fewer offloads, could get really interesting.
Towering restart from Kinghorn. Horwell takes it down safely. 5 minutes remaining for both players, the 14 men. Jason Tovey off for Edinburgh, Charlie Walker off for Harlequins. Down it goes, penalty coming to Harlequins, and everything going Quins' way at the start of the second half, and Romain Poit is about to deliver a very stern lecture to Grant Gilchrist.
As I told you in the changing room, just be careful about the discipline. Three whistle against you in a short time, be careful.
I think anyone asked James Horwell to come forward and listen in, but Grant Gilchrist has been made it clear. And again, when you get a warning as well, you're just on edge that the next infringements might bring another yellow.
And you wonder why Hall was walking over. Well, he wants to stay involved, of course he does, but it's also nice to be in the presence of the ref. Both captains, when you're not the one getting told off, puts you in a better light.
7 men.
So this is the reason why we're down to 40 men apart. Look, watch Charlie Walker coming all the way back. Toby's celebrating. He jumps in front of Walker, and then they have just a lot of handbags on the ground. They took offence to it. I think probably Charlie Walker took offence to the celebration. Toby ran across him. Charlie Walker takes him out. They then have the handbags. Romain Poix has lost his patience with him and sent them both off for 10 minutes.
And those 10 minutes, so you can see what's remaining. 3 minutes 50 for both of them. Horwell takes it down, bouncing around. Sinclair is there. Arm of Romain Poix goes up, and an Edinburgh player came down very uncomfortably there. It might be, is it Toulis? Yes, it is. Well, he doesn't look at all happy, Ben Toulis, and touch judge coming in.
Check in front of the line out.
Brian McNeice, the TMO, has been
white and
very busy.
4 black in the air.
So Joe Marler and Ben Toulis.
Please.
Watch Joe Marler, white 1, putting his man across. Do you know, it looks awful, and it's because Toulis lands effectively on Marler's head that he tips.
Because, I'm not sure number 1 was involved from the back of the jumper. Could we check again, please? Yes.
So I suppose what they're looking at here is Marler. Does he sort of move in on the legs of Toulis? Is it a deliberate action? Is it a...
Yeah, but don't forget, part of Marler's job is to lift the guy in the air. The other part of his job is to get him across the line. He wants to get him across, you see. And once he's caught the ball, he needs to get in a good, strong position on the hip of Horwell, or the maul gets torn apart. It looks awful. I absolutely don't think that's deliberate. I think it's bad luck. No penalty for me.
If this is out in an open field in a high ball situation, what comes into play? Remember, Finn Russell against Wales was the famous one out here against Murrayfield. He didn't look up at all, but because he affected a player coming down and landing on his back, he was given a yellow card. In fact, he got a ban as well, so it was actually should have been a red. If you enter an area when somebody's off the ground, you take the consequence of what happens when you're in there.
But that's every lifter in every line out. I think it's Joe Marler's always going to move into the line there to take the ball a bit.
Can we have a look about the number 1, if he moved
Toulis has been thrown
not,
across the line as well.
Just another angle, not the same one, but from Queen's side, just to make sure if the number 1 move forward and make unbalance the jumper, please.
So, yeah, just asking, just checking on Marler, as I said, if he's moving forward and putting Ben Toulis off that. You have to, as well, take into account, referees do, in slow motion, things always look worse.
Of course they do. Joe Marler's job is to get forward. Once the ball is won by Horwell, he has to start taking steps forward. It's part of his job to try and move onto that inside hip, the touchline hip of Horwell, to get in a strong position. I think it's bad luck. It looks awful. I'm absolutely not having it. That's deliberate.
That is his role, but he's also got responsibility in an area that if something happens.
Ryan, what I saw, number 4 jump to contest the ball. Number 1 move forward and make unbalance the number 4 black in the air, and he land on the back. Are you agree with that? Okay, that's just a penalty against number 1 and yellow card.
Well,
okay.
Well, both referee and TMO in agreement that it's going to be a yellow card for Joe Marler, and again, that is probably erring on the side of harsh. It's
Captain, 1.
But Quins are going to be down to 13
Let
men.
him move forward, he make unbalance, he land on the back. That's just a yellow card.
Just on clear. So if this happens going forward. So
just
on clear.
You move forward and you make unbalance the player.
Andy, you and I disagree on this. I think it's absolutely an accident, an unfortunate accident. It's a dangerous situation because there are guys on the ground, there are guys up in the air, and guys occasionally get tipped. Joe Marler's made lots of mistakes in his time. I've never seen him not hone up to one when he's done it. He walked over, had a chat with Ben Toulis, they both had a smile and walked off. Complete accident. I absolutely do not disagree with that call. I just think it looked bad.
I think we agree. I'm just saying there's the laws as they are went against Marler there, even though everything he did was exactly as he should have done.
Yeah. I think you're right on that. I think I just said I absolutely don't disagree. I do disagree, for the record. Easy for me to say.
Things to discuss. Beautiful touch finder it was from Blair Kinghorn, and well, Edinburgh 14 men, Harlequins of 13. Space is opening up all over the pitch, and Rossford's line out again. Big decision by Brian McNeice and Romain Poit. Line out taken down by Grant Gilchrist, and Edinburgh will fancy they have the advantage up front now. A heavy man to the good.
Stay there, White. Stay. No hands.
Kennedy gets a bit of a knock as he tries to set that ball free, and Gilchrist. Ford into Charlie Matthews, who's trying to hold him up there and has done pretty well. Matthews, ball eventually gets down. Gilchrist again. He's just spin away from his opposite number, Horwell, and then Rob Shaw. Edinburgh not making too much ground. Kinghorn comes in. He lays it back now, but not much of a cutting edge at the moment. Chris Dean gives it out to Willem Nel. He just rolls on. And Kennedy, plenty of Harlequins defenders there. Toulis tries to drag in a couple. Horwell is there for Quins. Carried in by Alan Dell. Still just there for Edinburgh. Kennedy almost threw himself. Oh, beautiful offload. Carried on by Burley. Edinburgh within 5 metres. Struggling to get this ball back now, but Kennedy has it. Switches it to Kinghorn. Looping pass over the top. And over the top of everybody. Alan Dell couldn't quite get there. There's a hint of desperation in that pass after so much good by Kennedy.
It's a silly pass. Didn't need to do that. Just keep hold of that ball. Get your strike runners back in position and go again. But what an offload from Kennedy. He had no right to make that. Alan Dell showed it really nicely in the loose as well.
Time off.
So, what a bit of skill here from Sean Kennedy. That's just brilliant.
10 White.
He's a player, he came on the scene a number of years ago, and I really rate him. He's just been quiet. He didn't get much game time from Alan Solomon, and I might tell you why, because of how he plays, but you look at this from Blair Kinghorn, it's just the wrong call. You've got the extra number, you've got to just go through the phases until that pass is absolutely certain for a sure try.
You might have the extra number, but the amount of time that's spent in the air, it gives Quins all the chance in the world to cover it. So you lose your advantage as soon as that lobby ball goes up.
Just a minute remaining of the sin binning of Tovey and Charlie Walker. Line out to Harlequins, taken down by Horwell. Harlequins just trying to eat up the clock. They're in 13 men, remember. And a good play by Charlie Matthews again. He's been strong since he came on for Sam Toomey at half-time. And also on there, you can see Danny Kerr has come on, and everybody knows the threat he has back from injury now.
Thank you.
That worked well there through Manu for Edinburgh. Good offloading again as Watson has it now. A risky one. Manu didn't go forward, says the referee, and Kennedy gives it out to Kinghorn. High it goes, a little bit too long. Brown again has plenty of time and sets himself forward. Taken down by Dean. So Danny Kerr now on to Sinclair. Pops it up to Chisholm. Good hands by Harlequins out there through Tim Sweel, who's on as well. And Marlon Yard times it nicely to Jamie Roberts. And Roberts, well, there's a lift tackle coming in on Marlon Yard. So a late tackle, sorry, not a lift tackle. So a late tackle. We're all getting very excited. Marlon Yard was taken out late, and it's a penalty to Harlequins.
Late tackle.
You see Grant
Yes,
Gilchrist
please, send them to me.
is coming off. So he's coming off. Fraser McKenzie will be coming on. No, it's
12 black.
I
12
can
black.
see lots of changes coming on. But anyway, this originally sin bin players, Tubby and Walker, are coming back on. And let's have a look at this on yard.
Gilchrist is exposed, but he does very well. He shepherds him out there.
We stay all together, okay?
Are you kidding me? That's been given as a late tackle.
Well, he kept hold, the ball's
No,
gone,
no,
and he actually, what he
backwards,
does is effectively yellow carded, is he?
He fell down.
Good try.
I didn't realise in the excitement that Gilchrist was coming on because he'd been yellow carded. I didn't say. So yellow card for the Edinburgh captain. So yellow cards a go-go at Murrayfield, and that looked to be a man who was sort of committed to the tackle. Anyway, as I said, the original bad boys are back on. Tubby and Walker, and Grant Gilchrist is now off for 10 minutes, and the Harlequins are down to 14 men for about 8 minutes with Joe Marler off. I'm just trying to keep track of the yellows.
I'm not a big believer in the late tackle. I think almost 9 out of 10 late tackles that are given shouldn't be given, in my view. Bit of an old school view, fine. For me, that was a late tackle. It wasn't a split-second collision. The ball was clearly gone. It was almost after the ball had gone. He effected a passive tackle, grabbed onto him and took the legs. It was, for me, it was a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it was probably my surprise was more it wasn't a smash or anything.
Yeah.
It was just a pathetic fall on the ground.
Yeah, it's silly.
So 14 men apiece, but different players who are off now in the bin. It's Joe Marler off the prop for Harlequins, and Grant Gilchrist, the lock forward, off. And down it goes, advantage penalty coming for Quins. Lots of penalties been given away now, a little chip through. And it might work well for Harlequins, and it's gathered by Marchant. Taken against the advantage, so back they will come for the penalty. And the referee, you sense that he wants to regain control of this match. Lovely little poke off the outside of the boot from Danny Kerr.
How about that for a bit of skill? Beautiful, especially when you got an athlete like Joe Marchant chasing it. Just stumbled, all that was a run-in.
So Tim Sweel goes to touch.
What about this? He's just off the bench, and he knows he's got a penalty. Watch, he runs across, and look at that little dink with the right foot, on the outside of the right-hand foot. What a bit of skill from Danny Kerr, and that's what he can bring to this party. Look at that.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Beautiful skill.
That's a 50-cap international, pure class.
Taken down by Horwell, and again now Harlequins will fancy their chances. Edinburgh shorn of Gilchrist, although Harlequins without Marler. They've used it once, down it goes now, as Bradbury fell upon his prey, and Horwell now. And Harlequins sense a real opportunity now. They have the momentum. Roberts, Danny Kerr, nearly there for the interception, but it's turned over, and Edinburgh come away through Damien Hoyland, and into play scrum half comes Chris Dean, and there is Kennedy now. Ross Ford, who is the captain on the pitch for Edinburgh now without Gilchrist. So Kennedy ready to clear this himself, and just sort of scooped into touch, so it'll be a Harlequins ball.
Well, Danny Kerr, after that beautiful dink, just rushed that ball. He wanted that quick ball, spun out from the breakdown under the post, but he just rushed it a bit. Didn't quite look where it was going. Could have taken a millisecond longer, but good turnover work. Grant Gilchrist looking on. Very naughty boy, isn't he?
Evans keeping the muscles warm, but he's off now, replaced by Tim Sweel, and Harlequins with a bit of go forward here. Buchanan has it at the back, and still moving, and Edinburgh's defence is a little bit broken at the moment. Danny Kerr comes away again, and finds a little bit of space deep. There it is for Sweel, and Sweel gives it on to Brown.
No hands!
And certainly more menace about Harlequins now. Horwell with a spill though. Hamish Watson has it, and Watson is quick, and Hamish Watson tries to get away. 4 white shirts around him, and Charlie Walker is quicker still, and it goes forward. I mentioned he's just about as quick as they come for a forward, but Charlie Walker is an absolute flyer.
Yeah, he is a flyer. You saw what Hamish Watson was doing. He got away a fend off, and he was just trying to free his hands up to offload to Blair Kinghorn on the outside. Another good turn a while. You see pressure there from Michael Allen off the bench, but look at the pace here. But Charlie Walker, it's a good fend there. Look at that, he was just trying to get his hands free, and Charlie Walker with a second attempt make a good tackle.
I think Marlon Yard was well covering Kinghorn anyway, but it's a very, very entertaining and open game here at Murrayfield. Another change being made. And see, look at the tackles made. Harlequins, Edinburgh have had to tackle a good deal more. That's extraordinary.
Scrum, white ball.
But they've missed one tackle fewer, so actually their tackle success rate will be.
Gap.
My maths all right.
Gap.
Something like twice as good as.
Gap.
Oh, no.
Gap
Something like twice as good as Quinn's.
Here to here. No, work better.
So Harlequins have had to make a change basically for scrummaging because Joe Marler's not there. So Mark Lambert has come on with Luke Wallace going off, but that will be reversed as and when the sin binning ends. Or it might not. They might sort of make it permanent, but I would imagine Marler will have a good bit more play to come.
Set. Sorry.
Marler is only about a minute or so to serve of his suspension.
Let's go, boys.
And Edinburgh ready to make another change. Stuart McNally is about to come on at hooker.
You go out, okay? About the space.
Let's go, Sid. Let's go.
Crutch. Bind. Set. Good.
Well, it's all crumpled in the front row. Penalty to Harlequins is the decision. Marlon Yard gets very animated.
Hey, Marlon Yard was digging in then. He was driving hard. WP now one of the strongest tight head props in the world, trying to rip through Mark Lambert just off the bench. Lambert very, very strong. But don't underestimate the input of someone like Marlon Yard. Okay, he's not a huge guy, but he's on there grafting. All counts.
I always fancy a back when they come in to participate in a scrum must think, right, I'm going to give it absolutely everything in this scrum. Show these forwards that actually it's not that difficult.
17 off. 17.
And by the way, that was an Edinburgh penalty for me. I don't think this is where most of the action happened. Mark Lambert resists WP now really well. Marlon Yard doing what he can. But the penalty was for Cartford. Collapse on the far side, but for me it was Sinclair that went down.
And that's why Ross Ford is shaking his head as he comes off, having had a word with Roman Platt, but Ross Ford is replaced by Stuart McNally, and there's Mark Lambert off for now. Good, and they're all smiling because he's enjoyed his one scrum.
It counts. That's a cap, that is. That's an appearance. Did you match fee in the old days?
That was similar to your England cap. I don't know, that's cruel and unnecessary, and Marlon Yard has it now and taken on by Marchand, and Harlequins flying now, and Marchand's so quick deep into the 22. And Danny Keir flings out the arms in complaint. Penalty to Harlequins, and Roman Platt might have something to say about this. So a little chip across, anything on for Harlequins here. It bounces well for Buchanan, but he can't quite get it down. They'll come back for that penalty.
The scrummers without the ball.
So Edinburgh tackling a man without the ball is the reason for the penalty.
13 tackle without the ball.
It's a kicking masterclass from Danny Kerr at the moment, isn't it? The impact he's made has been fantastic. To be fair, he's at a platform, and you can see the platforms allow players like Joe Marchand to get on the front foot through there. I've been impressed with him. He's not had a lot to do, but when he's done it, he's had a good impact. He's got pace, and a young player coming through the ranks of Harlequins. What a joy for him to play alongside the likes of Jamie Roberts and Nick Evans.
An obvious decision now for Harlequins, kicking for the touch without Grant Gilchrist. They've got the man advantage, but just so much zest about the Harlequins' backs in attack at the moment. Marchand again showing his flying feet.
Let's look at this dink across there. It's almost like a pass, almost on the money. If that's a winger out there, if that's Marlon Yard out there, that's a try.
Well, if that's Rob Buchanan out there, another 9 times he catches that. Actually,
so Harlequins have it, and they have that man advantage. Horwell now complaining as he's stood up, and Buchanan has it. He might still have a try. He's driving on, trying to sneak it away now to other hands. They've used it once, says the referee, and Edinburgh settle their defence in again. Sinclair is there alongside Joe Marler.
Contact fine, same one.
Harlequins up to the line and over the line, and a try is given, and it's a penalty try. The penalty try given by Roman Platt, and we'll hear the reasoning as it just brought down.
Well, Alan Dell was certainly straight in the side, as that was a metre and a half away from the Edinburgh line.
Collective penalty, so they're just, it's one penalty after another on the penalty try.
It's good driving from Harlequins. You can see Edinburgh players. I think it's Alan Dale, he's joining there. He's actually just letting Joe Marler go straight past him and then join. He's a full man behind the back foot, in front of the back foot.
Well, this is all to play for now, because this conversion, this simple conversion from Tim Sweel, will make it a 3-point game. And there's still a minute to go of the sin binning of Grant Gilchrist.
There was really good composure there by Harlequins, because Edinburgh defended it pretty well. They went down the short side, they stopped it, but they just got their shape back, they got the composure, they didn't rush it, and then they got into a good shape going forward. And once you get that momentum, you get close to the line. The referee only had one option. That's 2 penalty tries, and both have been exactly the right call.
Well, I don't think, as we look at John Kingston, the Harlequins director of rugby, or head coach, can't remember his official title, but that Grant Gilchrist is not going to come on, he's the director of rugby, sorry. Mark Mapletop, of course, head coach. It's all about rank, because Fraser McKenzie is going to come on, so too Viliami Mata. So Gilchrist will not be returning in 45 seconds. But there we are, Edinburgh 31, Harlequins 28, into the final quarter of this game. And it is anybody's to claim. Both these sides with victory in the first week. Harlequins over Stade Francais, Edinburgh over Timisoara Saracens.
Can't wait to see Viliami Mata in some space. Hearing good things about him in training. Fabulous player.
Say it or see him?
Either.
So Edinburgh still attacking with the man disadvantage at the moment, and Hamish Watson carries it on and into Luke Wallace, like-for-like players there, and Watson still managing to scrabble his way on, and Kennedy gives it wide now to Stuart McNally. And there is Kinghorn. Very different complexion to this game now, though. Edinburgh were a long way clear, and Harlequins have clawed their way back in. And knocking the tackle. Good defence by Harlequins. Kerr takes it deep and kicks away the advantage, and it's taken on now, carried in by Tom Brown. Edinburgh waiting to return to a full complement of players after this passage of play. Kinghorn goes to ground. Oh, and Kennedy gives away, and it's Kyle Sinclair, and Sinclair now with a kick and chase, and the prop forward with ambitions deep into the 22. Chris Dean falls upon it for Edinburgh, but Edinburgh in all sorts of difficulty now, and just resetting themselves. And Harlequins fans making some noise now inside Murrayfield. Good clearing kick. It's still just outside the 22, and I believe Kinghorn is down injured as well at the moment.
This was just very well read here by Carl Sigley. He just stood his ground, he waited to see what Edinburgh did and stood his area, covered his channel. Didn't quite have the pace to get back, but you wouldn't expect that.
I'd say he's got a good 35-40 in him, Carl Sinclair. Meters, I mean. Then that's about it, and the handbrake comes on.
Well, there is number 20. Viliami Mata. Ben Ryan, the Fijian Sevens coach, says he is something very, very special. I think Edinburgh are hoping that he could be a Leone Nakarawa style player, as Nakarawa was for Glasgow. He's a second row back rower with great skills. Also on there, Fraser McKenzie. So Mata's come on for that man, Nasi Manu, in the back row, and Fraser McKenzie has come on effectively for Grant Gilchrist. So Gilchrist still sitting there, so at the end of his sin binning he didn't come back on, so the second row is now Fraser McKenzie and Ben Toulis. Hope you're following all this. Blair Kinghorn is only just back on his feet and looking a bit unsteady, as Stuart McNally is given a talking to.
We haven't discussed the Carl Sinclair chip ahead. Thought he dropped it quite nicely onto the boot, actually. It's not his fault the teammates didn't chase it.
7:30 tonight on BT Sport 2 HD. Ulster against Exeter. And then tomorrow, also on 2HD, is Toulouse against Wasps. In Pool 2, Wasps after their thumping win over Zebre. Toulouse beaten in Connacht last week, and then Leicester against Racing 92 tomorrow. That is in Pool 1. That's on BT Sport 2HD and 4K UHD. Harlequins powering their way forward. Great ground made and still connected, and Buchanan again. Edinburgh trying to usher him towards touch, and the touch judge's flag does go up and saves them. But it's all Harlequins at the moment.
Well, it's a let-off for Edinburgh. Just kept that in. Just a bit of lack of concentration from Quinn stepping into touch or allowing themselves to be driven into touch.
Ball carrier left.
Just got to keep your eyes open. I expect they're moving forward faster than they even practice in training. That was going so quickly.
It's the area of the game.
Buchanan breaks out. If you're going to break out, you better score.
It's the area of the game, the flats, isn't it? That Harlequins have completely dominated and been head and shoulders better than Edinburgh. Every other aspect of the game has been very evenly matched, but in the maul, 2 penalty tries. You know, and if that had gone another few yards, that was going to be the third, a hat-trick for the penalty try.
We talked about a few different masterclass today. Attacking masterclass from Edinburgh in the first half, a kicking masterclass since Danny Kerr came on. It's been a mauling masterclass from Quins in this second half.
Open the gap wide open.
And a prop kick and chase masterclass from Carl Sinclair.
Well, kick. His chase wasn't up to
chase
much.
for a while. That man coming on is Matt Luamanu, who's a decent size. Off goes Wallace. And a red card against Sale last month, Luamanu. Former New Zealand under-20 player. And Edinburgh safely gather the line out, and a few yards are bought for Kennedy to play with. And that is a good exit, as they call them now. It's still a dangerous area for Edinburgh, though. Harlequins just outside the 22.
So it's just as well Edinburgh had such a good first half, because apart from that one passage of play about 12 minutes ago, it's been all Harlequins. 31 points to 28. Edinburgh's still in the lead, but they're hanging on by their fingernails at the moment.
So Glenn Bryce is ready to come on, and he'll come on into the back line. And he's coming on for Chris Dean, the outside centre. Watching Blair Kinghorn as well. He still doesn't look comfortable. He's rubbing his eyes and looking a bit uncomfortable.
Damon Hoyland was struggling as well, yet they've taken off Chris Dean, who was the guy that looked the fittest.
Good clean line out, and Kerr moves it out wide. And Brown had to take it above his head, and he was lined up by Hoyland, but couldn't quite knock him down. And there is Marler, man on a mission now after his sin binning. Kerr just times that pass beautifully back inside to Marlon Yard. Jamie Roberts. And there's a flow about Harlequins now that wasn't there in the first half. The mistakes seem to have gone. The edge is there. Horwell lays it back. Kyle Sinclair, what a good game he's had.
Hands out, 7!
And Danny Kerr, and always so bright and dangerous. And Buchanan, Edinburgh try and hold him up. And he crumples to the ground. Kerr again gives it on to Joe Marler. And Harlequins moving seamlessly forward and carried on there by Luamanu. Kerr claps, complains, sets it back, and Buchanan now can't quite make it. Rob Shaw tries to go himself, but he's repelled.
There's nobody on the blind side.
And forward they go, and it is Luamanu, and the try is given, and Harlequins lead for the first time since the very, very early stages of this match. It is Matt Luamanu, fresh on the field, who scores the try. It was his final touch, but really almost everybody in the team played a part in that.
I think back to the Sinclair try. This doesn't look similar, but it is in one way, because phase after phase, Quins are forcing Edinburgh to send defenders round the far side, round the far side. Are you folding enough? In the end, you've got a 19-year-old fullback / fly half defending a fresh, huge back row player. That's because Edinburgh are not defending properly. They're not communicating what they need on either side. And the mauling aside, the mauling has been a huge weapon for Quins in this half. Not that it was then, but for me it's the ball retention. How much did Edinburgh profit from Quins' skill errors and turnovers in the first half versus the second? Quins have given them nothing, and now they lead.
So conversion attempt to come from Tim Sweel after Luamanu's try, and you can see Nell is off in the background for Edinburgh. So I think it's Felipe Oregi come on. What a strike!
What a kick!
What a conversion that is from Tim Sweel, and Harlequins lead, and crucially that takes them beyond a penalty or a drop goal. Still a long way to go in this match, 13 minutes or so, but Harlequins lead 35-31. There is Villanelle off, and it is Felipe Oregi, the 22-year-old Argentinian prop who's signed this week from Los Jaguares. Dave Flatman, a keen follower of Los Jaguares. And that one taken just about by Magnus Bradbury. And he runs headlong into Joe Marler. And Tubby on the pitch, back from his sin binning and looking bright and breezy. McNally. It's there for Kennedy. And Kinghorn on to Fraser McKenzie. Kinghorn again. And there is Mata. Carried in. Hamish Watson again.
No hands!
Oh, through they go. A wonderful little break by Glenn Bryce.
Never attempt for the ball, never attempt for the ball.
Pop pass from Oregi, but a wonderful thump comes in on Stuart McNally. Edinburgh come again, little forward pass. You would think as the try is, I'm sure it's not going to be given, is it? They celebrate. And the crowd celebrates, but they're going to have a look at that. Mike Brown's plaintive face.
Yeah, we have a clear doubt about the last pass we checked.
I think the TMO will bring an end to the celebrations.
Well, we'll have a look at this pass now, but some great bits of play.
We check the pass
Bradbury,
first.
good speed, good break.
And touch, okay.
Viliami Mata, beautiful offload.
Try yes or no.
Charlie Matthews,
First check
another big hit. It's been
pass.
great since he came on. He looks forward to me.
And the grounding.
Glenn Bryce with a touchdown. Again, the angle is all important to see the pass. They're also looking at a touch after the pass. I think
That's forward.
Yes, forward. Doesn't matter if he's in touch, it's forward.
long way forward.
It was hands. It came out forward,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Irrespective how far.
That's clearly forward,
Yeah.
and that confirmed Johnny called during the game. Is it right? Ryan? Okay, that's forward. Yes.
So Glenn Bryce denied. I think. I'd say I think he knew. I'm not sure he did, but it was clearly a forward pass.
Free white.
I see Carl Sinclair is. Carl Sinclair struggling. See a change coming on. Will Collier is coming on for Sinclair, who again is in some pain there. Sinclair, and it's a real shame. He's had a very, very strong game. There is Will Collier coming on.
Been really good, Carl Sinclair.
That was good. Clear space between both, okay? Clear space between the last one, okay? Catch. Bind. Set.
Heading towards the final 10 minutes in this match, and Harlequins getting a good shove on again. The penalty is surely coming. It's just being held at the back, waiting for the penalty. Referee taking his time about it, and so Harlequins have to use it. And Roberts, Edinburgh are offside though, so penalty is there for Harlequins, and has arrived now.
Good impact from Will Collier. Didn't get the penalty at the scrum, but it put Edinburgh under all sorts of pressure.
So Sweel will try and get Harlequins back as far up the pitch as possible. Not a great angle for a right-footed kicker, but it will be their line. Now let's have a look at that previous passage of play, though.
Oh, look at that. How'd you get that away?
Because you were born in Fiji.
Yeah.
It comes natural.
Oh, beautiful offload from Mata. And again, the comparisons in terms of Leone Nakarawa are pretty accurate in that kind of passage of play.
If he's half as good as Nakarawa was for Glasgow, then Edinburgh have got a hell of a signing. I've not seen a forward influence the game as much as Nakarawa did over the years. In the Pro 12 final, Guinness Pro 12 final, he was simply unplayable.
Yeah. Time back on. Where are you? Where are you?
So Buchanan into the final 10 minutes here at Murrayfield. What a turnaround this has been from Harlequins. Taken down by Rob Shaw.
That Quinn's line out has been brilliant today. He's built this performance on that, this comeback on that, and this, the more.
Well, the little pocket of three broke away, but well, the old truck and trailer, as they say, not bound. So we'll have a scrum to Edinburgh. Let's have a chat with the Harlequins head coach, Mark Mapletoft, and well, still some work to do, Mark, but you must be tremendously pleased with the turnaround in this game.
It's been entertaining, Andrew, isn't it? Second half, we're always here to please.
Well, what has been the turnaround in the second half? Cutting out errors and making sure there's a bit more continuity about the attack.
Yeah, I think that was the key thing. We didn't look after the ball well enough in the first half, and something that's been a problem a little bit for us all season is then when we do turn the ball over, the opportunities for the opposition are just coming too easily. I mean, you've got to give credit to Edinburgh. They were very clinical, but turnover into one-phase try is tough for any team to defend, and it hurt us in the first half, and it's been a bit of a problem for us all season.
Mark, thank you. We'll let you enjoy, if you can, enjoy the final 9 minutes of this match. Mark Mapletoft, the Harlequins head coach, his side leads at the moment by 4 points. Hidalgo Klein is on at scrum half, Sam Hidalgo Klein, and he now moves that ball onto Tom Brown for Edinburgh. 4-point game, and there's Mata, collision with Luamanu, and the earth shakes, and Sam Hidalgo Klein cleans up the scraps. Carried in by Fraser McKenzie. We will have another look at that for the masochists. That challenge from Mata, just pause it back there to Jason Tovey, who's wandering around and trying to find a gap, and he does so now. Good play by Tovey. Ball still there for Edinburgh, and Sam Hidalgo Klein gives it on. And Glenn Bryce carries. But Edinburgh need more than a penalty, need more than a drop goal. 8 minutes to go. And a little show and then shovel on from Mike Allen, who's on the field, and good carry, good strength by Magnus Bradbury. And Toulis. And Edinburgh now with a bit of fluency about their attack into the 22. Penalty coming to Edinburgh. So a little attack to nothing, a pop forward. And Mike Brown waits. Who claims it? Oh, and it's there for Edinburgh, and the ball is down, and it's Tom Brown who has scored the try. So rare that you see Mike Brown beaten in the air, but Tom Brown coming forward onto it, takes it down and scores the try. They had the penalty coming, but they needed more than that, and they have it.
That was the Hail Mary kick from Hoyland, wasn't it? When he did it, I thought, what are you doing? And then 2 seconds later, it potentially could be the match winner. You know, when you put up like that, as you say, he had all the momentum there, Tom Brown. Look at Michael Brown struggling there. Great kick chase and catch. And look at the athleticism to get it over his head with a touchdown. Great finish by Edinburgh.
I always think, what are you doing when a kick like that goes up? 10 times out of 10, but that time it was brilliant because it was behind Brown. Doesn't matter how good you are in the air, if you're backpedaling, you're going to lose out to oncoming attackers. Really, really clever. If it was off the cuff, then great skills. If it was considered, then very clever.
And Tovey with the conversion off the post, so it is just a 1 point game. 36-35 going into the final 6 minutes at Murrayfield. Beautiful take by Brown. And again, just that bit easier for the man coming forward onto it. Mike Brown was at a bit of a standstill.
Backward.
And once again, the restart works well for Harlequins. One here that simply hasn't functioned for Edinburgh today. And Mike Brown now tries to keep it alive, and it comes forward off Edinburgh hands. So Harlequins have the scrum. And Ball Boys getting wrapped up in things. Oh, and there's all sorts going on in the dugout now. And you see Mike Brown in there, but
Ryan, we will check between 15
lots of
15
things
White and
are going to have
the
to
other
be
players, because
looked
I
at.
didn't see clearly 15, but I think there is something.
And you're so close to the crowd here, because the crowds aren't huge at Murrayfield. They let them right down onto the touchline, as you would at a lower league club game, and they're right there. And Mike Brown is being investigated, but he wasn't the only one, clearly.
Everybody away. Yeah. I want to check 15 and yeah,
21.
21 and yeah.
So 21 is the other number, and that's Sam Hidalgo Klein.
Okay. Brian, please, can we check between 15 and 21 black? 15 white and 21 black. Yes.
He's never always the cause of it, but Michael Brown seems to always be involved, doesn't he?
Right, let's have a look. We're all looking to the big screen. Well, we're looking at our monitors, the referee and assistant looking to the... There's Mike Brown.
Yes, there is.
But that... Oh.
Well, it's trying to stop the quick one, isn't it? Mike Brown's thinking about chucking it in quickly. Sam Hidalgo Klein comes in and blocks him. And that annoys a player who's losing with 5 minutes to go.
Well, if you're looking at Mike Brown's defence, he was, as you say, trying to get the play going quickly again. And Sam Hidalgo Klein, who knows it's Harlequin's ball, comes in. But then there was the raised arms and...
Yeah.
So the TMO decision is, has there been foul play?
I said no.
Push in the face. You're not allowed to block the quick throw, and equally you're not allowed to palm someone in the face like that.
So Sam Hidalgo Klein comes in to try and stop the quick restart. It was Harlequin's ball, so he's at fault for that, and then Mike Brown responds.
Okay, nothing really dangerous and clear, but 15 had his face on 21. But the first infringement was Queens didn't allow the black players to play the ball. The scrum half and the 15 as well. That's a penalty on 15 against white. Are you happy with that? Okay.
Sorry, I thought it was Harlequin's ball.
I think he's got his teams.
We had a tough time at the beginning of the second half. Everybody came back in a good behavior. We keep going. That's a penalty against you because 21 didn't allow the black players to play a quick throw.
I thought it was our scrum, sir.
And 15 as well had his face on 21 black. That's a penalty on 15 meters.
I thought it was our scrum. That's why they were going quickly. It was out.
So it's a first penalty is Hidalgo Klein blocking the quick throw in.
No.
He's not. It was obviously an Edinburgh line now, and Hidalgo Klein wanted to get the ball to get the quick, and Mike Brown didn't allow that. That's what the referee said.
Well, I thought the sarcastic applause from Mike Brown. I thought the first infringement was a little knock-on from Edinburgh. That's why I thought it was Harlequin's ball. But Edinburgh have been spared by TMO, and that's a big decision with 5 minutes to go and 1 point in it. It is Edinburgh's line out on the Harlequins 22, and Mike Brown not a happy beast, as you might expect.
Okay, good.
Indeed, John Kingston watching on, and Toulis takes it down safely for Edinburgh, and Stuart McAnally holds it at the back.
16 away, 16. Thank you. 6 away now.
Well, what a game we've had here at Murrayfield, and still you suspect much to happen. Mata just spills it, and Luamanu takes it away, and Robertson, Marlon Yard now, and Brown. Here comes Brown. A few in the crowd start to boo as he comes forward, but such a dangerous player. Thump comes in from Viliami Mata, and a penalty to Edinburgh as Harlequins deemed to have infringed on the floor.
Well, Mata made up for a mistake. He had a pretty simple drop there, but he put in a big hit, which influenced the handling on the deck there. So he got it back. We can see it here. Watch this tackle. He comes in, boof. He doesn't lose his man. He doesn't lose his channel. He goes on, make the big hit, and that's when the hands come in.
So Tovey for the corner. So it's Edinburgh's ball just outside the 22. Massive rainbow over Murrayfield. Huge.
A pot goal just near.
Was it Leinster against Castor? Well, that's it, yeah. So Edinburgh in no hurry, as you might imagine, to come forward and take this line out, but McNally ready now. And this one works well to Tullis. And Edinburgh making some ground now there. Hamish Watson and McAnally at the back. And this is a good driving ball from Edinburgh. Down it goes now.
Black going down.
So Black going down, says the referee. So no penalty coming forward there for Edinburgh. Fraser McKenzie carries. 3 minutes to go. And just a half fumble there from McAnally, but not from McAnally. McAnally coming in now. And there is a carry from Ben Tullis.
Ball out.
And there is Fraser McKenzie.
20 away.
Sam Hidalgo Klein gives it to Tovey and on to Mike Allen. And there is McAnally. 2.5 minutes remaining for Harlequins to try and find something for Edinburgh to try and hang on. Almost through there. Glenn Bryce making some ground. Still, well, it was Edinburgh's ball. Might have been turned over now. But Edinburgh secure it again. Sam Hidalgo Klein. And there is Viliami Mata. Nobody to offload it to. Just white shirts around him. Oh, it's a risky pass, and Harlequins almost in there. And now a chance for Robshaw to come. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes remaining for Harlequins. Danny Kerr flings it out wide to Chisholm. Wider still it comes. Carried on by Alofa. Kerr gives it to Collier. A minute and a half. A final chance perhaps for Harlequins. Marchant almost through. Kerr and Harlequins beginning to make ground. Oh, and almost through the middle goes Tim Sweel. Gives it on Horwell. Back it goes. Chisholm now. Edinburgh's defence trying to stand firm in this final onslaught from Harlequins and Jamie Roberts. 1 minute to go, last chance for Quins here. And still they move forward, still they make ground. Kerr gives it deeper now to Mike Brown. Mike Brown with Marlon Yard. Back it comes to Kerr once again. Out wide it goes, bit of a standstill for Charlie Matthews. Sets himself forward now. Almost up to the fringes of the 22. 30 seconds remaining. Tackle comes in on Roberts. Kerr fires the line again.
No hands.
Horwell. Brown again. And out there Joe Gray. They're getting closer. The clock ticking closer though to 80 minutes. Any mistake now and Harlequins' hopes will be at an end. Mike Brown. Brown gives it to Marlon Yard. And Marlon Yard now for the try and for the win.
What a hit.
Still there for Quins. The clock is red. Last opportunity for Harlequins. Kerr looks wide. Horwell, the captain, still going.
Drop goal, surely.
3 metres short, the ball there. Have Edinburgh turned it over? The crowd roar as if they have, and they have. Given back to Tubby, who points in celebration and kicks it out. And Harlequins cannot get that final score. It seemed to be coming, but it wasn't there for them. Victory for Edinburgh in a pulsating, enthralling, hugely entertaining match at Murrayfield. But the victory belongs to Edinburgh by the narrowest of margins. What a game.
What a fantastic game of rugby, and you've got to admire Edinburgh's character. That they got a lot of opportunity in the first half. They took it. Their attacking play was fantastic, but then Harlequins showed their quality in the second half to come back. So the character that Edinburgh showed to come back was fantastic and just deserve it.
Man of the match.
There he is, Blair Kinghorn. I thought he was fantastic today. Lots of guys played well. Marlon Yard was exceptional for Harlequins, really, really good, as was Danny Kerr when he came on, and Charlie Walker. I thought the two flankers for Edinburgh, Bradbury and Watson, put in great shifts, as did Damien Hoyland on the wing. But I love the way Blair Kinghorn plays. I love the attacking nature of his play, his footwork for a tall guy. Beat a few defenders, scored a try, fine. But that big hit, that big collision with Marlon Yard in the last few seconds made him look brave as well. A fantastic player and a great prospect. I'm glad Edinburgh are picking him. He's our man of the match, Blair Kinghorn.
Well, 6 tries to 5. What a match. A few yellow cards in there, and we've just named the man of the match. Let's hear from him now.
Dramatic final there. Talk us through that, Blair. How are you feeling?
Oh, I don't think it's quite sunk in yet, really. Try and throw it away at the end there. We're our own worst enemy, but I think great resilience from the boys. I mean, everyone was shattered, and then in that last period of defence, it just shows what this club is going towards, and I think it's just a great character.
You talk about character, 19 years old. How impressive is it playing against these seasoned professionals and winning games like that?
Oh, I think it's definitely surreal. I was warming up today and I was speaking to Magnus Bradbury, another young boy, and just looking at people that we've seen on TV for many years. But it's great. We were seen as the underdogs coming into this game, and I think it proves that we're making this place a fortress and teams don't want to come here. I think it's just a great way to kick on the season.
An accolade for your man of the match performance. Jason Coburn joined me here with the Harlequins man of the match performance, Blair Kinghorn.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.